going on, everybody? I'm Coach Mike, and this is Technique Tuesday. So I've already gone over the back squat and the front squat. Two fundamental movements that you are going to use probably the most with your athletes, weightlifters, whoever you're working with. Now, today, I am purposely skipping the snatch, and I'm going to start with the clean. The reason I'm doing that is because this is a podcast, and this is a YouTube channel kind of dedicated towards strength and conditioning coaches that also kind of dabbles into weightlifting. So in my experience and my talking to people and everything, most coaches are going to use the clean more often than the snatch. So I will teach the snatch, and I will go through pretty much the same progression we're going through for the clean, but that's going to be in a later video. But for today, I'm going to teach the clean, the starting position, and the first phase. Now, the first thing I want to get out of the way, I don't use the same terminology that weightlifting uses, unfortunately. I harp on terminology a lot, but this is one where I don't agree with the terminology. I call them the first, second, third phase instead of pulls, mostly because when I say the word pull, people want to pull off the ground. And that is not what we want to do in the clean and the snatch. We want to push. So I call them phases instead of pulls, just for to not even put that word in athlete's heads. All right? So what is the clean? The clean is taking the barbell from the floor to the shoulder position. That is all the clean is. There are variations of the clean. There is a hang clean, where we start in a top position, right? We can start from the hips, we can start from the knees, but we're starting in an up position, and we're getting into a hang position to execute the clean. There's power cleans. Power cleans are when we catch the bar anywhere above 90 degrees. A clean that we catch below 90 degrees is just called a clean. There is no such thing as a squat clean. That is not a thing. So, there is a clean, which is the bar from the floor or a hang position to the chest in a full bottom position. Then there is a power clean, which is the bar from the floor or the hang to a above 90 degree position. When I say above 90 degrees, I typically mean that knee angle above 90 degrees, the hips above 90. So, those are the only two cleans. There's tall cleans, muscle cleans, all those technique cleans. But when you watch people perform the clean as an exercise, it's either a clean, which is a full catch at the bottom, or it's a power clean, which is at above 90 degree angle. All right? So I'm going to be teaching the first phase today. The first phase of the clean is the bar from the floor into the second phase, which is about mid-thigh. All right? And I'll demonstrate that with the barbell to make a little bit more sense. All right? So who's going to be doing the clean? Pretty much any athlete. Any athlete, weightlifters especially, because that's one of the two fundamental movements that we perform. But any athlete that needs to be strong, powerful, agile, learning how to brace their core, being able to change direction rapidly under load, being able to express power. The clean is the purest expression of power that there is. So that's why it's important. It's important to be able to express power as an athlete. We all know that. I've done podcast episodes on this before, but we need to build that strength base with squats, front squats and back squats, and be able to express our power as athletes with the clean, with the snatch, with jerks, with stuff like that. All right? So, again, the first pull, or the first, see, I'm already messed up. The first phase of the clean, as I said, is from the floor to mid-thigh. It is from the floor in the starting barbell position. The reason I put the plates on is because now, if you've noticed, it changes the height of the bar to my legs. That's kind of obvious, but a lot of people don't think about that when we're teaching beginners. All right? So, what the reason the first I'm breaking it up in the first, second phase, all that, instead of just teaching you clean outright. The first phase is what is going to dictate if you make or miss the clean. All right, let me say that again. The first phase is what will determine if you make or miss the clean. 90% of the time. All right? The first phase is important for maintaining position through accelerating the bar, maintaining balance through your foot, so we're not rocking back or rocking forward too much, throwing ourselves off balance, and trying to maintain bar path as much as possible. We want to get that vertical and back bar path to create that S path as much as possible. So the goals of the first phase in the clean, so that's why it's important. The goals of the first phase is to produce as much acceleration as possible. We're trying to move the bar as fast as we can while meeting those other important steps. So we want to move the bar as fast as we possibly can, generate as much acceleration as we can into that second phase, while maintaining our position and maintaining our balance. All right, so I'm going to go over the position and why that's important and what that looks like, and then also talk about the balance points as well. All right, so first things first, we need to establish our starting position, right? So when I walk up to the barbell, what's the first thing I need to do? Now, similar to squat, most people are going to do well, feet hip width apart. Similar to squat, we are playing a balanced game of physics here. Feet narrower allows us to generate more vertical power and translate that more vertically. So the laws of physics, if I push down, I'm going to get reciprocal force back, which means the more narrow I am, the more I can push vertically down, get that reciprocal vertical force to be able to propel the bar up. The wider I go, the more it's going to disperse out, and I'm going to get less vertical force. However, if you're a larger person, taller, heavier set, whatever, you may need to go a little wider than hip width. That's fine. I would say no more than shoulder width. That's pretty standard in the literature. All right, so feet hip width apart, toes slightly up, just like our squat stance. It really is our squat stance because when we are doing our first pull, you're going to see it's basically a squat without extending the hips. So feet are hip width apart. Now, I'm going to walk up into this barbell. I want to make sure the bar is touching my legs. Okay? Because when I squat down and get to the bar, it's my shins are going to push it forward a little bit. All right? When it pushes it forward, that's going to be right about where we want to be. All right? So I'm standing over the bar, nice and centered. My toes are flared out, and my feet are hip width apart underneath my hips here. So all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to bend over and grab the bar. We don't need to overcomplicate this, right? Just going to bend over and grab the bar. Now, hand placement. Hand placement is, I could find you a weightlifting coach or a strength coach, and each one I find will give you a different reason for hand placement. All right, there's a lot of thoughts out there. I tend to grab the bar wherever it's comfortable, okay? But again, this is a game of physics now. The wider we are, the more we're gonna put into the bar, the less we're gonna be able to whip the bar around, and the wider our angle is gonna be. Great for a jerk, bad for a clean. Versus the narrower we are, the longer we're gonna have to pull, but the more torque we're gonna be able to get to whip our hands around and shoot those elbows through. All right, so it's a balancing act between where we need the hands for our shoulder mobility, where we're able to actually get that front rack. A lot of people can't go wide and try to clean. That's not going to work for a lot of people. So there's some Russian texts that say it should be no wider than shoulder width. I don't know about that for me. I would say kind of just outside your legs. If you take your thumbs, put them on the edge of the knurling, that's usually a good start for most people. But you're definitely going to be more in the middle, the smooth part of the bar, more so than you'll be at the rings. I used to think I was a pinky at the ring cleaner, which is out here, and that is a very wide grip to clean, and I ended up bringing that in to right about outside shoulder width. So, but basically your clean grip is going to be when I have this bar up, and I take that dip of my knees, right? So my chest is up, my knees are dipped, I'm hitting about mid-thigh, right below my hips there. That's a good clean grip. Okay? So, feet hip width apart, toes slightly up. I'm going to bend down, I'm going to find that clean grip on the bar, okay? Now, yes, you should hook grip. If you do not know what hook grip is, you're going to put your hand around the bar, put your thumb under, and grab your thumb. If you have not hook grip before, it sucks. It sucks for a long time until it doesn't. That being said, the way to make this easier, 2 fingers and your other 2 are free. That is I don't want to say a loose grip on your thumb, but you're not death gripping your thumb into the bar. So it's a nice relaxed grip into the bar. and then you're pulling through your shoulders and your back. You're not actually pulling with your hand anymore until a certain phase, all right? But yes, you should have your athlete's hook grip every time. Snatch, cleans, shoot. I mean, I know coaches that if they touch a dumbbell, they're hook gripping dumbbells just to get them used to the hook grip position. But you should find that grip position and immediately go into hook grip. The reason hook grip is so important is because it activates more of your forearm and it locks your hand in position. So if I'm hook gripped and I hit my hips, it's really, really hard for my hand to turn out and let go of the bar. Versus, especially with the spin of a bar like this, when I pop up with an open grip and I hit my hips, it's very easy for me to spin the bar out and lose it in my hand with just a right traditional grip. So you should teach your athletes to hook grip. I will die on that hill. Now, feet hip width apart, toes slightly out. I'm going to bend down, find my grip position on the bar, thumbs out to the knurling, wrap my hand around, and I'm going to establish a hook grip. All right. Now, from here, all I'm going to do is squat down to the bar and pull my chest out. Okay. We're not overcomplicating this. The reason I am doing this first. Now, we're not going to start the lift from this position. The reason I am pulling down first and pulling that chest up is to get my back straight and tight. All right? So, similar to squat. If you put your arms forward, pull back and down. That is the tension you should have in that back. Another cue that I really like to give lifters, and I do this a lot with the college kids I work with and the high school kids I used to work with and all the weightlifters I work with. If they are in that starting position, okay? Boom, we're in that starting position. I will get down in the middle here, and I will pull the bar from them. I will actively pull the bar from them. And I will tell them, don't let me pull the bar away. Keep the bar tight to you. As soon as they feel what that feels like, everything lights up, their back gets tight, and now they understand keeping that tension into the bar and that nice tight back, all right? So if you have a lifter who frequently lets the bar forward and doesn't really understand how to get the back tight and keep the bar tight, that's a good cue to use. If you don't want to get up in their personal space like that, I've seen some coaches that tie a band, like a light band around the middle, and then they just pull on the band. I don't like that because now we're just getting bands in the way. But it is what it is. I mean, if you're a strength coach, you can't be afraid to get a little in people's personal space or a little hands-on. That's what we are movement experts, and sometimes we need to go a little hands-on to teach people proper movement. It shouldn't be a big deal. All right, so feet hip width apart, toes slightly out. Sorry, my microphone's going crazy. Okay, so feet hip width apart, toes slightly out. I'm going to bend down, find my grip on that bar, initiate my hook grip. I'm going to squat down, pull my chest up. Now, when I squat down, I am finding my heels. I want my weight right now to be about the top of my heels, towards the midfoot. All right? My toes are still pressed into the ground, but my weight is sitting back into my heels. So when I pull, when I start the first phase of this lift, I'm able to keep this bar as tight as I can. All right? So I find that position, right? Nice and tight. I'm going to pull my hips down just slightly higher than my knees now. All right? I'm still working to keep that chest up, but I'm working to keep those shoulders down and back. So here, I find my grip. Just higher than my knees. I'm pulling that chest up, pulling those shoulders down and back. I'm nice and tight into that bar. Creating that tension is already lifting the bar off the ground. All right? Now, that is our starting position. Okay? The next part of this lift is where most people mess this lift up. It is not a violent yank off the floor. It's not what we want to do at all. We want to stay as connected to the bar as we can and push as hard as we can. We are trying to jump with the barbell. All right, so you're treating that barbell as an extension of you. That's going to be a little behind. It's going to be a little laggy. But we want to treat this barbell as a jump, and then we're dropping underneath that barbell. All right, so again, first phase is going to be to the mid-thigh. And our important points here are to keep our position, keep our balance, and generate as much speed as we can while maintaining both of those. So, feet hip width apart, toes slightly out. I'm going to find that grip position, all right? Initiate my hook grip. Hips down, pulling that tension back. I'm pulling this bar back into my body as tight as I can, and I'm driving away. All right? Notice my knees went back, and my shins are almost vertical in that position here. My chest is up, my back is tight, my eyes are slightly forward. All right? It is a push. That's why I do not call it a pull. I am pushing away, trying to generate speed, so when I clear that second phase, I'm able to basically finish the jump and snap underneath that bar. So let me hit you with a side angle here. So feet hip width apart, toes slightly out. I'm going to find that grip position, hook grip. Now, notice my back is nice and flat. I'm pulling my shoulders down and back. I'm finding the heels of my feet, and I'm coming up into that first phase, second phase transition. Shins are about vertical. My knees are back, so the bar can come straight up. My chest is up. My eyes are forward. My back is tight. All right, that is what the first phase looks like. So, common mistakes that you can see with this first phase, especially with brand new lifters. First thing they're going to want to do. There. First thing they're going to want to do is pick that butt up. We don't want that. We want the chest and the hips to rise together. All right? We are pushing the ground away, bringing the chest with us. Another common mistake we're going to see. Notice how I said after I hit that first phase, my knees were back. A lot of times, I'll try to hit you with like a side angle here. A lot of times, new lifters are going to pull the bar back so much that they have to go around the knees now. All right, so the knees are still forward, and they're going around the knees, which brings the bar forward. All right, if the bar goes forward, we either are going to miss forward or we need to chase it forward. So, way to fix that, again, we're pushing through the heels, getting those knees back, and vertical shins here. Other mistakes we see, chest not rising. We need to bring the chest up as well as the hips up. Back not being tight, you'll see that. And then again, just yanking off the ground. If they're just yanking it off the ground, we need to stop and reset and do some of these next drills I'm going to teach you. So, some drills we can do. It's actually really simple to fix the first phase. Alright? You set up your starting position. And all you're going to do are variations of tempos and pauses. So, you can do a tempo pull, right? First phase tempo pull. And here, 1, 2, 3, 4. First phase, done. Right, there's your tempo pull. Whatever tempo you need for them to maintain position and maintain balance. Alright? Now, you can do pauses. So, first pull to the knee. Pause. Into the hip. Pause. You can combine the two. Do a tempo pause pulls. You can do floating reps, right? So, floating reps. Knee, don't touch. Thighs, don't touch. Knee. So on and so forth. You can work tempos in with that. Anything that reinforces what we're using the first phase for. Balance, position, and acceleration, right? Which the acceleration drills will come with phase 2. So, to recap. We covered the first phase of the clean, right? The clean is the most true expression of power, bringing the barbell from the floor or from a hang position to the chest. You're catching it either in a full clean at the bottom or in a power clean with your hips above 90 degrees. The first phase of the clean is bringing the bar from the ground to the mid-thigh where the second phase traditionally begins. All right? We want to make sure with this first phase that we're keeping our chest up, our back tight, and we're pushing with our legs, bringing our hips and our chest rising together, and we're staying in position and balance the entire time while also generating enough speed and momentum to carry into that second phase. All right? So, if you're struggling with this with your athletes, one thing you could do is take a side video. So, I showed you an angle from here. This is a good angle to view your athletes at. You're going to see a lot of the different angles of the knees, the ankles, the hips, and the back to see where they're messing up. You're going to see toes coming up, heels coming up. You'll see where their balance is at. You'll see the bar path. Look at that side view. Take side videos of all your athletes as much as you can, or encourage them to take side videos, and try to see what you're seeing. I mean, just kind of look at it and see what you see, and then fix it from there. All right? If you are a weightlifting coach or you're a strength coach that does the cleans, Leave a few comments below on common faults that you guys see. Let's get some discussion going in the comments. What are some common faults? How do you fix those? What are some other drills you could incorporate for the first phase? What are some points that I might have missed here? Anything you want to spark conversation in the comments. Other than that, next week I'll go over phase 2, and we'll actually start getting into the clean. So look out for that video. Look out for all the training videos, podcasts, everything I put on this channel. If you are enjoying this channel, make sure you subscribe to this channel. You like this video, you hit the notifications so you get alerted when I post these videos. And make sure you share this channel with anybody that you think will benefit from it. I've been Coach Mike on Technique Tuesdays, going over the first phase of the clean. I'll see you next time.